So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
Let's dig it all up.
oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar. Yes.
And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also a podcast with video for Patreon. Wow, short, sweet, to the point. Before we get into all of our fun things that Meredith and I can't shut up about, we have an Instagram, a TikTok, a YouTube, and a Patreon, and all the links are in our description. And we're switching up our Patreon too. I announced it to our current patrons, and we will soon be switching things up. So be on the lookout for that.
New year, new us, 2025.
2025. And then also, please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. It really, really does help the podcast, and we would appreciate it. Thank you so much. I think that's it.
Awesome.
I think that's all I have to say.
Well, you have so much more to say, but just...
No, that's it. I'm mute the rest of the day. No,
this episode will now be a Meredith monologue.
I'm just going to sit here.
Can you imagine? Really I think I could yap for an hour at you.
I think you could. Would people like that? Is the question. I would
need some yeahs and some giggles back.
No,
I couldn't.
If I have to be mute, I'm mute forever.
That's what I couldn't do. I can't.
I wouldn't even look at you. Not that I do already. I am always, my eyes, I told Meredith this. If anyone has to watch the video, I apologize. I never look like I'm looking at her because I'm not. I'm always thinking and it just looks like I'm rolling my eyes. But I just when Meredith talks or when Meredith listens, she looks right into my soul. And when I listen, I look anywhere but the screen.
I don't look at you. I look at me on my computer.
I don't even do that. my eyes are always wandering.
I mean, I do try to look at you as well, but which reminds me right now, I need to cover my own face on my computer.
Oh my God. No, as I speak or listen, my eyes just are everywhere else.
That's okay. That's okay. You're thinking through, you're using your surroundings. I know I'm the most beautiful person in the world. You can't just stare at me all day.
I would go blind if I did.
This is why it's best we don't live in the same city. We've never had to work next to each other. We work together, but never side by side because how could you just sit and stare at me all day long?
I think I'd be fine. The fact that I don't even look at you a little bit. And I know you hide yourself. I never hide myself. So if I am looking at the screen, it's probably just me.
That makes sense.
Because the only way I'm going to look at the screen is to stare at myself. Other than that, my eyes wander.
No, that's why I have to literally hide myself from myself because it's yeah. This is why I don't like being camera on my own work calls. I would just stare at myself. I don't care what other people are doing.
I don't either because it looks like I'm just not paying attention.
It's
so humbling to have to watch yourself. It's so humbling.
Agreed. Anyway, I've gotten used to my own voice now. I'm glad other people enjoy it. I'm getting on that track because I listen to it more.
Same.
Yeah.
But it was all from honestly, and I hate saying this, but it's from TikTok because I have to rewatch my video before I post it. So now I'm kind of okay with my voice. But I hate it because I don't enjoy doing TikToks. I get so angry when editing that I just post it. It's raw footage you get from me.
Oh my gosh, your TikToks are the best, Alicia. You're just
it's raw footage.
That's the best part.
I tried because so I've been feeling a little oh no, I'm 30, but not in a depressing way, in a is my life a quarter over? Oh. More. It's more than a quarter over. So I was oh no, what do I do? And I was you know what? I have a lot of goals for myself and maybe I should just for myself, I put my personal thing on private and I would just post videos of all my goals because my goal is to spend 30 minutes every day outside my apartment and do one thing a day that makes me smile. And I'm working on adding things. So if I want a cookie, I can have a cookie, but I'll add grapes or something with it. So we never restrict, we only add. And so I'm I want to like kind of capture that and see, like, hold myself accountable. And I tried to make one video, Meredith, in CapCut, and I was so mad I gave up. I was like, never mind. This was a bad journey to ideally have.
No, I agree. Because at one point
I'm
we
done.
talked about like your book talk and like different
It's
pages
so
that could make.
annoying.
It is kind of humbling to know how much work goes into like the real TikTok influencers. People say like, "Oh, it's such an easy job." And granted, some of those people have like a whole team behind them, so I think
Yeah.
it's easy for some people. But editing videos takes hours of work, and it actually is such a weird experience to be doing it. I'm so thankful that we only do it for this like podcast because it's very like specific on what we're editing for, but I can't imagine doing it for my whole day.
We really wasted our 2020. Like, we could have just gotten good at it.
I feel like
What
I'm
the
good
fuck were
at it
we
now, but
doing?
it's still always going to take time and effort to like record videos, edit videos, all the things.
Yeah, but we imagine if we had done it in 2020 when there was no editing, and then we like grew with the editing stuff that came out, you know? Like,
We
we just
still would have had
started
to
and then
edit
we started.
it.
Yeah, but we would have, I feel like, been better at it. Now I'm like, it's not even the time, it's that things don't go right. And then I go, never mind. This isn't
Oh,
even worth it.
I'm in the era I think that you want to be in, but it still takes me time. Like I edit all of our podcast videos, and that'll always take the same amount of time.
Time is like fine. It's just like it never goes the way I want it to go.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
in
I
your
sit there and
perfectionist
go,
era.
it looks like my mom made it. And I go, yeah, fuck that. And I'm like, I can't put my name to this.
That's so funny.
So I'm
No,
over
I
it.
love your videos.
It's raw footage. I can't describe enough how angry I get. And then I go, fuck it. This is it.
I understand. I
So
understand
that's
that.
it. Um, but anyway, instead of like focusing on the negative, should we do small celebrations? Because even the small things deserve to be celebrated.
Yes. I'm actually really excited this week because I'm somebody who does not do Christmas decor ahead of Thanksgiving. I did put it up like the day before I left because I wanted to come home to it, but my small celebration is like all my Christmas decor is up and I love it. I kind of forgot how much I
Oh,
missed
cute.
my own decor because I like truly put it away and do not see it all year.
So have you had this before? Is this a new
It's all the same.
thing?
I've
Okay.
like slowly grown it throughout the years. Like I don't have a big Christmas tree because I live in a tiny apartment. So I have this one that like goes on the wall and it's this whole light thing. And I love dimly lit lights. So it's just, the way it always lights up my apartment, I feel like is what I love, not necessarily the Christmas tree. And then I have two nativity sets that I bought while traveling. And so they just every day that I see them remind me of that like trip. And I think that's just what I need to do when I travel more is like find really cool decorations for seasons because it like cyclically comes in and out of your home, obviously, that it like just brings me so much joy to like look over and see those kind of like travel mementos.
I love that for you. I myself am not one to decorate my small apartment. I never have been. I probably never will be because I don't spend the holidays most of the time at my apartment. And
Yeah.
it's small. I don't know where I would put any of this shit. So I just don't even bother.
Mine's tiny. I you could fit it, I promise. Like I have like a little pine scented candle that like I love the scent of pine too. So even just like bringing out that type of stuff just brings me so much joy.
I don't know why my apartment isn't associated with holidays for me.
That's okay.
Like when I go back to my parents, I'm like, you better fucking be decorated.
You're
But
like
here I'm
it's the
like,
holidays now.
literally doesn't matter at my apartment.
My mom
Don't
always
know.
did it up
I
so much that I like need a little bit of that
Mhm.
before
Maybe
going
because you
there.
also like work from home. Like I don't spend much time in my apartment weekly, and
Yeah.
then by the weekend, I'm like, I guess as long as I just have any candle and my show, I don't really care.
Yeah. I get
So we'll
that.
see.
Christmas is the only one I really actually decorate for. I just
You
have
don't do
I've
like,
collected so much stuff now and I love it.
do you do like a spring decorations and then like fall decorations?
I have some fall just because I love the colors of it and actually like green is a huge well, I guess green really isn't a fall color, but my fall decor right now is green. And so it's really easy for me to like place it. Like I have this like wood bowl and I just plot different
Mhm.
stuff in for fall in there, and then I change it over to Christmas. So it's like super easy to do that. And then I have like a glass jar I
Nice.
swap out for like a cute little pumpkin one. So I do smaller stuff in the fall, and then it's really easy to transition it to Christmas because I already have to put the fall stuff away.
Yeah. Okay, solid. Like it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my small celebration, because you never ask, I have to go straight into it. I don't have one. Honestly, I don't think there's anything
Nothing?
to celebrate for me. And that's
What about that
I'm being
snazzy little
Scrooge.
thing you're wearing?
Oh, Meredith bought me a sweatshirt.
I'll give you one.
It says not aspiring to be humble, which I'm not. I'm never to be humbled, but
No.
because we need to spend our money where we can, and it must be to support women. And we're supporting
Amen.
women by reminding them to never be humble. The great Kamala Harris said this because someone said she didn't have kids to humble her. And I know who said it, but we don't say their name on this podcast.
No.
And she said, I'm not aspiring to be humble. And I went, that's fucking right. She actually said it, I think, on Call Her Daddy. So
She did. She
what
said,
a
not
time.
every woman is aspiring to be humble.
Absolutely not. And as someone who doesn't really like kids, I don't want to be humble either then.
Why do kids have to humble me? Well, first, I don't need to be humble, but why is it only a child's job to humble me? I humble a lot of people all day, every day.
My parents humble me like crazy. My dad got constantly being humbled by that man. So I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. I don't know why I need some snot-nosed kid to fucking humble me.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm good. Every time some man doesn't message my dating app response, I've been humbled. No, I'm just kidding. It's
my God.
obviously because they're intimidated by me.
Absolutely.
Not that I know, because I deleted my dating apps on November 6th. So
look at
not
you.
to be confused with January 6th, different holiday.
Different holiday.
Different
also
time.
Holidays Alicia does not decorate for.
Tomorrow is December 6th. So
we're just slowly, well, I mean, this is in the past for most people. They've already experienced that holiday.
Yeah. Congrats on your December 6th. I hope it was a great holiday.
Is that St. Nick's Day?
God, you sound like my mom. I don't know. Actually, yesterday someone said a date. I was with some friends yesterday, and one of my friends said a date, and a different one of my friends went, St. Joseph's Day. And I went, what?
Oh.
What?
I do know that one.
Forget. No, it's not my mom. My mom knows
my high school was called as St. Joseph's Academy, so that one was pretty locked in there. But I can never remember because St. Nick's is like a night thing, so I never remember if it's the day you wake up from the night you put gifts out, or like I never know which day it actually is. Is it the day you put it out?
Should I put my shoe out and see if St. Nick comes?
Yeah. Does he come the day before it's St. Nick's Day, or does he come the night of? That's what I don't get.
Either way, I'm going to bet if I put my shoe out for a week, I would get nothing.
Agreed.
I would bet. I don't know where St. Nick is, but he's not in this apartment.
He's not stopping at this household.
He's definitely my mom. But shout out my brother who still lives at home, who is going to get a St. Nick present.
I sometimes do still force my parents to buy me things for holidays. If I hear they're buying my sister's family something, I'll be like, oh, we're buying families like presents, because my mom will buy something for my nieces and nephews in the spring. Yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool. I'll take a rug for my apartment.
Yeah. My thing is, my parents are always like, well, my mom specifically, she's like, what do you want for Christmas? And I'm like, money, I don't know. Just pay my rent. I don't,
yes.
What do you want me to say?
Yes.
And she's like, no, can you make a list? And I go, literally, I just need a new Kindle cover. But even that, I haven't bought myself. The problem is, I can buy myself anything I fucking want.
Yeah.
And I have to travel. So my mom's like, do you want me to get you pots and pans? And I'm like, no.
Well,
because you're going to want me to open them.
That's the thing, is I would just, if you want to buy me that stuff, just mail it to my apartment. But then my parents are like, well, then you'll have nothing wrapped. And I'm like, I don't need to physically open. I don't need to. I'm okay if I don't open something, but my dad loves us opening gifts because we wait for my nieces and nephews to come over before anyone touches a gift.
Print a picture of whatever you bought me. And
That
I'll
my dad
open
has
that.
done that. My dad has done that. My mom asked
Oh,
me
it's
this
ridiculous.
year, I've gotten like nice knives in the past. She texted me the other day that said, "Do you have a knife sharpener?" And I was like, Jesus Christ, do not give me a
There you
knife
go.
sharpener. Do not. I have
There
to
you
fly
go.
from St. Louis. My family's going on vacation in Puerto Rico together and then flying back to Chicago. I do not want to fly with a knife sharpener.
You're gonna
I
get
don't know
called
if
out
that's
by
allowed.
security. No, probably not. I actually, for my birthday present from my mom got flagged at
Mhm.
O'Hare Airport in Chicago, if you guys are familiar. But she got me this here. I'll grab it. It's like a stamp, and it like you can like imprint your book
I
with
love
this stamp.
that.
The problem
Yeah.
is my one of my best friends also bought me this, but they're two different
Oh,
designs, so that's good. But I
yeah.
tried both of them on a book, on a page, and neither one worked. It didn't really work. And I went, oh well.
No.
It's the thought that counts. And now I can say I have this. And maybe
Yeah.
I can buy enough stickers. Because it worked on the sticker, which was weird, but it didn't work on the page.
I
So I
wonder
don't
if
know
it
what
needs to
happened
be
there.
thicker.
Yeah, I don't really know, but I did get flagged in O'Hare. They were like, "Do you have a stapler?" And I was like, "A stapler?" And then they pulled that out. I go, "Oh yeah, I have that. Sorry,
They're like, what the fuck is this?
whoops." So I got I hate being flagged too, because I'm
I
always
know.
like, "What if I was late?" I know I'm not, but like, I don't have time for this.
Well, it's like for me, I'm always kind of a little not embarrassed, but I'm like, no, I'm a seasoned traveler. People like I know what I'm doing. This is just a random occurrence. I don't normally travel with a book imprint thing. Like I promise, I'm
I'm
not a problem every time.
I'm the opposite. I'm not embarrassed. I make it seem like TSA have pulled me over for a mistake. I'm like, can you believe these people? Like it's like they don't know who I am.
Sometimes I like give
I'm
them
not
a
funny.
heads up and they don't want that. They're like, no, we're not having this conversation. I'm always like, hey, so I've got like this type of stuff. And they're like, just send it through the thing, ma'am. And then they flag me and I'm like, I
Oh,
tried to avoid
ew!
this.
You talked to them before? No.
Well, I mean, there's
It,
like very few people in the airport, I feel like, when I'm flying.
there's a chance I'm not going to get pulled over, and I'll take that chance. I'm not going to warn you ahead of time. Hey, I
Well,
might
I
have
I
something that you
like
need to look at.
fly home with like my mom gets like a bunch of beef from like southern Indiana, like from her family, and like gets like so I'm like flying with weird stuff sometimes, and like I know
Yeah, and
they have to search it every single time, so I like pull it out and I give them like a heads up, and so they it does go smoother when I give them a heads up.
oh, I thought you meant like as your. Is this before your bag goes through
Yeah,
security?
I'm like, hey,
Oh,
this is like
terrible.
frozen foods. FYI. And
I
then they're
would be
like, okay,
like,
great. And then like somebody will start like putting on gloves.
I dare you to. No, I'm always like, I dare you to pull me over, and I'm not going to help you extra.
Oh,
You're going to
they have
grab
to,
my bag.
my stuff they have to search every single time. So you might as well. And I like show
Terrible.
up like 30
Ugh.
minutes before my flight board. So I got to speed this up.
Oh, I could never do that either. My anxiety is crazy. Even with TSA pre-check, I'm always like, I have to be at the airport an hour before boarding so I can make sure my gate exists.
I hate sitting in airports. It's my least favorite thing.
I kind of like it. It's a lot of fun people watching. And then I always get a little snack and then I like read my book and I don't
I
hate
just,
it.
the snacks are $1,000,000. They're not what I would prefer, but I never get anything in advance. The
Nope.
seats are
I know
uncomfortable.
the snacks are the same price they are in New York, so I'm
Oh my
fine.
God.
Sometimes cheaper. So I'm like,
Damn.
I'm ahead. I'm ahead of the game here. But I love
Seriously.
a good airport sesh. And then I go to look through, if I'm at O'Hare, I go through to Barbara's bookstore and I go
Mm-hmm.
look at all the books. And then I debate buying one. And then I don't buy any because I don't have room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which reminds me, this year for Christmas, everyone's getting books. If my family listens to this, which they don't, you're getting a book again, just like last year. But
I love that.
a cough. This year I'm doing banned books. So you're all going to get a book that has been
Ooh.
banned somewhere.
I love
So
that.
just know that. We're supporting banned authors in this house.
Absolutely. That's
My
incoming.
sister,
Right,
my
right in your stocking.
my sister still hasn't read the book I bought last year for her.
Would
And
you
it was
get
an
her?
easy little smutty book called Icebreaker. And it wasn't even that good. It took me 2 days to finish. And the whole time I was
Yeah.
like, whatever. I think I talked about it. I think I
Well,
probably gave a synopsis because I was like, no one read this.
I don't think so. I think that was before our also time, but we like read it, I think, at the same time.
Oh.
And we were both like, this is stupid.
Oh, you read it too?
Mhm.
Well, if it's
We
going to
talked
be
about it.
dramatic, someone should die. Don't just have her
Okay.
fall in the ice and then nothing happens. Kill her or something. Have her
I
have
need,
amnesia.
that's the thing. I need like a coma or like something a little bit more than just like,
That's
oh,
it.
you're like in the
I
hospital just for like a checkup.
I don't like a storyline that really goes nowhere. So if you get injured and then you're fine right after, that's not going to fly with me. I need you to
Yeah.
get injured and something terrible then happens and it causes issues in your relationship and then you have to give up your dream and then you can be
Yeah.
fine.
Yes.
But like don't just fall in ice for nothing. You get what, taken to the hospital and then he falls more in love with you? That's not realistic. You should have at least gotten
No.
pneumonia.
That's the thing. That should have been the like big cliff arc of like, oh my
That should have been
God.
it. And it
Rather
wasn't.
than the spoilers here, rather than the like weirdo like roommate.
I didn't even understand. I literally rolled my eyes. I was like, the roommate hates her, but kisses
I
her?
I still don't
And then
understand.
the book ends. And then the book, we didn't even see any aftermath to it. She just moves out and then the book ends. And I went, but if we're gonna have this happen,
Yeah.
have him be a stalker or something. Like, give me.
No. The book ends, and they also, this is what I hate too about this book, is he becomes a professional hockey player, and she goes on to the Olympics. No
Professional
fucking
skater.
way. You
And
were
then
not
she has,
skating
yeah,
in college and then go to the Olympics. Like, that's just not how it works.
you're already too old.
It's- like, you would
Yeah,
be
that's
training full time, and then you would do the Olympics, and
true.
then you would go
You
to
know what?
college for funsies.
That drives me nuts in books when everyone not only has a happy ending, but it is beyond believable how happy your
Yeah.
ending is.
She
And
didn't
then
need to go to the Olympics. She could have just, they could have been fine. Him going to the NHL made sense.
fine.
Fine. But like, she doesn't need to go to the Olympics. Just make her a normal
And
person.
if I remember correctly, this book had like 6 months later, and then it was like 3 years later, and I was like,
Yes.
we don't need two epilogues. I'll assume if he made it to the NHL and you made it in your professional, I'm assuming you guys already got engaged. You have to give me an epilogue before the epilogue that you got
Yeah.
engaged. I get it. I'm assuming truly
That you guys are fine.
Man, I
Agreed.
love criticizing a bad book. Before, though, we get into our actual official book club, should we talk about news?
Yes. There's a lot.
I don't have any.
Oh,
Really.
well, I
So you
can't
go.
wait. I went to last week, we talked about the inappropriate work culture with out of office emails. Have you heard about the
Yes.
girl who wore tiny sparkly shorts to a work party?
No. Oh no. Oh no.
There's
Why
just
would you
that.
want your
I mean, that's
coworkers
pretty
to
much
see your thighs?
that.
Mm.
That's like all I had to say about there's not really a story behind it. It's just that. Why would you want
Your coworkers
to see you
shouldn't
like that?
see your mid thigh. You can
Mm-mm.
do maybe right above the knee, but even that's really pushing it. We're not friends at work. I don't want to see your thighs.
Yeah, like this is work. This isn't like social hour.
No, she should be fired for like she's traumatizing me.
Amen. Can you imagine doing that at our old company? I would be embarrassed.
Someone said, because I had a happy hour yesterday for work, and I really don't have a lot of work friends, but this was the first time I was like communicating with anyone. And someone was like, yeah, it's pretty chill in the office in the summer. People are even wearing jean shorts. And I was like, excuse me?
My God.
This is a corporate we're in corporate America. Behave.
Why do you want to wear shorts to work?
Imagine seeing your old boss's knees. Like, that's a lot. That's too much.
Okay, I
Maybe you
have.
did because you went to a basketball game with me.
That was in the winter, but like we also
But you
played
guys were
volleyball
kind of friends.
together. Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that's
I
right.
saw him in
We
like
did play games.
yes, and I've like been to like baseball games with him, but I can't imagine him seeing me in tiny ass shorts. Like
Ugh,
at a
no.
work, truly work event. The other things were truly social stuff that I chose to hang out with my coworkers outside of the office and like do fun stuff. She wore these to a work party.
No. No, thank you.
No.
Next. What's your next word? What's your next news story? I hate this girl.
Here's something more fun. I have been seeing this woman and this man enter into a lavender marriage, and I'm curious if you would ever be open to that.
May I ask the definition of a lavender marriage?
It can be either be a gay, some like either both parties are gay, but like it's a man and a woman marrying, and it can be a gay guy and a lesbian like getting together, like Whitney on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. People think she's in a lavender marriage where it's kind of like a beard and you're just married to like
Okay.
do the stereotypical thing. But this couple, it's a gay guy and a straight woman, and they were like, why not reap the benefits of what marriage can provide you? But I don't want to be with a like cis straight white man.
Yeah, I would do this.
I kind of think I would too.
I'm undoubtedly. I joke all the time. I'll marry one of my friends to reap the benefits of marriage, the tax benefit alone. If
Yeah.
we continue down this podcast road, at one point I'm gonna be like, Meredith, should we just get married?
Well, I
Should
mean,
we
with
just
how
fucking
this
do it?
this country's going, I don't know if we can. We might need to find a man.
Let's okay, yeah, I sure. But also, like, yeah, I would let's get married. I don't want the straight men to have anything at this point. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
take away my hand in marriage right off the bat too.
I
But
think it'd
yeah,
be
I
so
have like a
fun.
really good gay friend, and we always were like, we're basically in a relationship anyways. We might as well just get married.
I love it. I love it.
Because you could still hook up outside and no one's jealous and no
Yes.
one cares. But like you have a lovely little home life.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like you
Yeah,
get
no
a
doubt.
wedding date to things, and then not only a wedding date, it's like an actual partner who would be in for things. Like you don't have to like
Yeah.
ask them to do things. They would already be into the things you already into.
You would have someone to watch your shows with.
Mm-hmm.
You would have someone to occasionally cook you dinner. Also, my gay friend, he has a boyfriend, so like side, but his boyfriend works like in the restaurant business, so works like weekends and weird hours. So
Yeah.
I have already gone to a wedding with this friend, and I'm going to another one. We just booked our hotel with him.
Love that.
So I'm already in a lavender marriage, but I'm reaping no benefits. This is bullshit. I'm proposing to him at the wedding.
You are
This is
getting some
bullshit.
benefits. Like the socialness of it is like a benefit, but that's just being
Yeah, I get to
friends.
split my hotel room, or else I'd be paying
Yeah.
like $340 by myself
There you go.
per night. Ugh, getting married in Miami's the worst. No one do
Oh my
it.
gosh.
Anyway,
Next up, Ariana and Katie are set to go to trial for something about her with Penny, but the trial isn't set until March 2026. It's so far away.
is it worth it, Penny? Like at this point, should we just give up?
Right?
Because
Most
what
people
is she
settle.
fighting for? Ownership?
She says that she was promised to be COO and I believe 10% of all sales, but we were confused if it was sales on that one location or truly like everything.
Oh yeah, because they got merch for a little bit, like before.
Yeah, so like does she get merch or was it just supposed to be the store? But either way, it's like 10% of something is what
Listen,
she
I don't know what
claims.
happened. And either way, I don't care. But here's the thing, Penny, that's working against you. And I get it. As a nobody, I'm with you, Penny. But they are going to make money no matter what. We are going to something about her for Ariana and Katie. I just feel like it's going to be more pain than it's worth. I just, at this point. And also, you're going up against two beloved Bravo celebrities. Like, come on. It's not looking great. But I'm with you. I'm with you. Maybe they will settle. Was it in writing though, Penny?
That's the thing.
Because it's he said, she said.
I
She
kind of
said, she
don't
said.
like whenever one person is just a nobody because I want you to like be posting your receipts on your Instagram story. Win me over in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, like I'm down to believe that all famous people are terrible. I talk about this all the time. I'm rooting for, I don't really know. I don't want to say I'm rooting against Katie and Ariana because I'm not. But like, Penny, if you want the money, get the money. I'm here for it. I'm here for
I'm
you to
rooting
get
for
your
the
bag.
truth. If they did truly promise that to Penny, like I think she deserves it. But
Sure, but we don't
if
know.
none of that
That's
happened,
Penny also seemed just difficult.
I know. And just like she kind of came off to me like she felt she deserved things just because they were new to opening a
She
restaurant.
came off like a Greg, and it seemed, it hit different because these weren't two buffoons, you know?
Agreed. That's such a good point. Like,
And they weren't
the Toms
buffoons.
needed Greg to act like that. Katie and Ariana don't.
And maybe Katie and Ariana were buffoons, but the problem was when the camera was rolling, they weren't. So we were like, no, they know what they're doing. So Penny, I don't know, girl. Either convince me or else I got to go on the side that's going to feed me. And that's going to be the two women at Something About Her. And I have to go with that.
Agreed.
And nothing could ever make me hate Katie Maloney. I'm so into her. There's no way. Sorry.
Speaking of Katie, she said on her podcast that she actually told production she was not going to move forward with season 12 anyways.
That's a queen who has had enough.
Agreed.
We saw it at both reunions, season 10, and I'm convinced she only did season 11 for Ariana.
And I bet to get a little press for Something About Her.
For Something About Her, but I bet her and Ariana had a full conversation, and Ariana said like this, you know, this is how I imagine. I obviously have, this is on nothing. This is my imagination.
This is actually direct quotes because Alicia was in the room.
I was there. No, I imagine Ariana being like, I am beloved. I have to go back for season 11.
Yep, I can totally hear this quote.
Which was the correct business venture. And she was probably like, dude, we could get something about her on it. And I bet Ariana is not above asking for help. I bet she was like, please be my friend on this. Like, please. And
I
Katie
need an
was probably
ally.
like, but Katie was like, yeah, I'm going to be on the team of the most beloved. Here I come. Because now I'm most beloved too. And I would throw my life on the line for these two women now. But after season 11 and we watched Lala flip hard, they watched Sheena flip hard, they chased Ariana out of that fucking party, Katie's getting yelled at left, right, and center. She was probably like, fuck. Ariana, first of all, was probably like, I'm not coming back, I'm doing Love Island. And Katie was like, I'm not going to go back to these losers.
Yeah, there's nothing
better shit to do.
There was nothing for them to do, really. Like, I feel like you would need to feel productive on a show. Yeah.
They're not going to deal with Tom Sandoval yelling at them any longer. And I think they both saw Ariana had better opportunities, so they're not going to film in the summer because she's in fucking Fiji. Okay? Katie's like, I got this nail brand thing and I got to work on my fucking restaurant.
And she has a podcast. Like, she's fine.
She then got a podcast with Dana and she was like, you know what, then fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. And she is still, because sometimes I'm like, I wish Katie got as much love as Ariana. Like, I really do. But Katie also doesn't seem like the type that would go on Broadway. You know, she's a little more like reserved, I feel like. But everything good that happens to Ariana has a positive effect for Katie as well. So I'm sure she was like, get your bag, girl. I'll be collecting at the sandwich shop. Because after Love Island, all those fans were like, we got to go eat Ariana sandwiches. And Katie's like, I'll just collect, baby.
That's true. Katie is like kind of like quiet, like solid support in the like background. Yeah. And Ariana's just like out there doing her thing. Katie's obviously like working hard too, but Ariana's is a little bit more in the public eye and visible. But it does like benefit both of them and their sandwich shop.
Yes, absolutely. And I think Katie will be picky about what she does in the future. Like, I think if, I don't know, Winterhouse reached out, she'd be like, no. She might not even want to do like a Traders, you know? Like, she has the ability to be really picky with it. But I think if an opportunity comes that Katie really likes, she'll take it. I just think she needs to get presented with it. And I don't know what it is for Katie. But I wish the best for both of them, and I think they are better off without the show. Because
I
why do you need to
agree.
deal with these people yelling at you? Just remove yourself from the situation.
Also, I see sometimes this narrative, it's less like I see it less from our also podcast like pages just because we're clearly like in support, so we're being fed some supportive stuff too. But every once in a while I'll see comments about how like annoying it is that Ariana and Katie, like specifically Ariana, like asked for so much money and that's why this show collapsed. And in my mind, I'm like, if it collapses because one person wants so much money and they can't fulfill that, and that means the show is literally based on Ariana. If it
Yes.
collapsed because of one
Well,
person, then the rest of the people don't bring enough.
well, you think I'm gonna watch a show that's backed by the Toms, Sheena and
No.
Lala? I wouldn't have watched season 11 if Ariana and Katie didn't show up. Let's make that so clear. The only reason I watched was for those two women and then James. Like,
Yeah.
no. But high key, James's goodbye post to Vanderpump Rules made me cry. Like, it made me
Oh my
sob.
God. Allie said that like he was like feeling all of his feelings. And I was like, feel your feelings, bro. Like, I understand.
But great. That's the other thing is Katie's only other friend on the show would be like James, and he's DJing and supporting Katie because he
I think
loves
it would be
their friendship.
fun to have James like pop in with cameos every once in a while. Like, you know how sometimes we saw the like Real Housewives of Beverly
Oh,
Hills people on
yeah, yeah,
Vanderpump,
yeah.
like because they had parties there, like seeing James DJ there one night, or just like come in
Yeah.
and like sit with Lisa and they like the new servers serve them. I think that would be cute.
He meets the new Sir DJ.
Not full time, but maybe he can still have a few of his what are his Tuesdays? See you next Tuesdays.
Yeah, see you next Tuesdays. But then some guy comes in and does Thursdays and James has to battle him or something. That'd be fun. No, but Ariana did say that something about her is right down the street. So if a few cast members want to film and argue over a sandwich, they're more than welcome.
I would love that.
So it's lovely. It's not in a strip mall. It's right down the street. It's open to filming because they'd probably have to maybe pay Katie and Ariana to film. And they'd be like, yeah, whatever. So maybe we'll get Katie serving a sandwich.
I'm fine with that.
And then we get her watching the argument happen. And she's just sitting there like, can losers. So happy to not be me.
She's like, man, hate to be them.
Happy it's not. We watch her go to the back and be like, call Ariana and be like, they're fucking arguing about nothing. Can you believe?
Oh my
Can you
God.
believe people did this?
Who does that?
Whatever.
Yeah. Well, next up is our other leading lady, but on the East Coast, Miss Lindsay Hubbard. I really thought that she had the baby here on Wednesday because she was like silent on social media, but then she posted on Thursday just like oh, none of the remedies are working. But I'm still kind of convinced she's throwing people off her scent. I think she's close to having this baby.
I love Lindsay so much. I'm so glad people are starting to like see the light a little. I hope she's
will
so
always
happy in her
dislike some of
future.
her personality, but I
Fine.
think we're now in a society that we support women. We support women the way we need to. And I didn't support her the way I should have, but we're all turning a new page and it's all about changing your attitude and moving forward.
I think motherhood will be great for her. I think it will deactivate her a little bit.
Soften her like Carl wanted.
No, because women don't need to be soft. And I hate when Lala was like, I'm in my soft era. No, I think it will deactivate her a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I think I could see she's going to be Mama Bear of the Year. You fuck with her kid.
Yeah.
Dead. You're dead. So I'm excited. I'm also excited. Like, this is going to be so bad. I can't wait for Summer House, but I kind of want to see Carl like in pain being like, that could have been my baby. Be like, not in the way that he's in love with Lindsay.
Views it.
No, but in the way that like, shit, I was supposed to have a life with this person, and then like I ended it, and now she's moved on and had a she's pregnant, and I'm
Like she's making progress in her personal life, like that,
yeah,
like home
it's
life,
with
and he's
anyone,
not.
right? When you look at your ex and you're like, fuck, dude, he's married with a kid, and I'm just like on a podcast, I guess. You know, sometimes you're like, I don't know. But I feel like Carl would be really in his feelings about it. Because he's that type to want like a soft feminine wife, trad wife type.
Which Lindsay's
Not
not.
that that's Lindsay, but he wants kids, he wants the family,
Yeah, I think he's
he
still in
wants to
his
build
like,
it.
thank God we for both of us didn't do this. Like, can you imagine if we were? I think he's probably thinking like, can you imagine if we were pregnant? Like, this would be a disaster between the two of us.
No, for sure. But I hope he has a little bit of like a shit, she already
Damn,
moved on.
that's
Less
what I
than a
love.
year later. Yeah,
I
yeah.
am getting really excited about Summer House and to like watch that dynamic specifically. And we have the Sierra and Wes breakup. Like, I need to see all
Couldn't
these
care
like kind of
less.
like exes dealing in the house. I think that's going to be a good dynamic that we haven't had in a while.
I, for some reason, think Sierra and Wes are going to fuck up the dynamic. I think I'm excited for Cara and Lindsay's dynamic. I think that will be so interesting to analyze. Sierra and Wes is just going to be like when Sierra and Austin hung out post their breakup. And I'm going to be like, ugh,
I hope it's
I
more
don't
like how
care.
Carl and what's her name from the first like 2-3 seasons.
Lauren?
Yeah, I kind of want it to be a little bit more chaotic. Maybe no watermelons need to be thrown, but
I don't think Sierra and Wes would get chaotic though. I think it's just going to be like, you remember how awkward Hannah and Luke were? I think it's going to be like
oh,
that, where it was like, we're just avoiding each other.
I
I'm
hate that.
hurt. He's hooking up with girls, and I hate that. And then Wes is like, everyone thinks I'm the bad guy, and I'm not. And
Gosh.
I'm going to be like, if y'all don't start arguing, I swear to God,
I need an argument or two.
I need 12. Okay,
Okay,
more news?
here's my last one because I want your thoughts on this. The United Healthcare CEO who was shot in New York. The comments are so funny.
Okay.
So funny about this. So I wanna get your thoughts on this.
It's not funny what happened to him. And thoughts, prayers, concepts of thoughts and prayers with his family, of course. However, if you think I'm going to mourn a rich white man in this society, you have another thing coming. Don't deny the claims.
Don't
Okay?
yeah.
People are going to revolt with violence, and that's a terrible thing to say, but like
No,
that's where we're at this point.
one thing I saw somebody say is everybody has like a time when they're going to die, and his was right now. And we move on. They stepped over his little body and still went to their meeting.
And still went to the Zoom meeting, or the
That's-
not Zoom meeting, the in-person meeting.
That's my favorite is like, no, literally, even when the CEO dies, the company still moves on.
We
Stop working so
we
hard.
still have claims to deny. I would like to say, as someone who lives in New York, who was actually near what happened yesterday, like in that kind of area, I did not feel even remotely scared for my life because I knew that I was not someone out here $1 million deep denying people healthcare. Not me. I felt so
You
safe
are
with
so safe, bundled
Robin
up.
Hood patrolling the streets.
I also heard that the police were kind of complimenting him, basically saying that he did it so well. It
a
seemed
really
like he
good
was an
shot,
assassin.
this guy. A really good shot, this sniper that took the CEO
This was
out.
really well planned.
He was talented. He is talented. We don't really know. Was he caught? Was the shooter caught?
No, not that I know of.
You know what? Thoughts and prayers to that guy too.
Amen. Like
He's
legit.
out here.
I heard.
You know,
I don't know
who's
if any of this is true, but things that I've heard through the little grapevine is that he potentially stored some clothes in Central Park to change, which I love the planning.
He's a smart guy. All right.
Exactly. Somebody also said he rode away on a city bike, and a girlie on TikTok was like, how did he either keep a city bike unoccupied without it getting taken by somebody else and or grabbed a city bike that was the perfect, like seat height for him to just zip on out of there?
What if he actually took the time to adjust his little seat?
I mean, an even better plan, he clearly allocated for city bike time.
If he, well, here's a few questions. If he changed first, he had time because he's not going to be identified. Second, you could look up who like got a city bike at around
That's
that
what I
time.
was
The name,
thinking.
as someone who works for a company that does bikes, you could see the name. You have to have
I
an
think the
account.
bike
So
is there's no way he would like let himself be that tracked because he was
he should
very
wait an
aware of the
hour.
cameras, I heard. And so he got himself to Central Park, was able to potentially change out of view of cameras, which you have to know where all the cameras are in
New
New
York's got
York.
tons of cameras. Yeah.
And,
Listen,
and then they don't know where
why
he went.
why am I kind of attracted to this man? He planned a whole, imagine him planning a date. He would be so detail oriented.
And he would show up well in advance because I heard that guy was standing there for hours in advance. So he is ready.
He's got endurance. He's detail oriented. He's attentive to you. Imagine him listening to you. He would stand there for
He
hours and
cares
listen to
about
you.
social issues.
Wow. Yeah. I call me if you hear that.
And like,
Imagine
listen,
I'm like,
I won't
so
snitch.
I'm dating the assassin, and we're like,
I saw people say if I saw anything, no, I didn't because you don't cover
no, I
my
didn't.
eye exams. Like I don't have good eyes.
This is the thing again. We live in a country that is so terrible at this point
Oh yeah.
that if you live this stupid privileged life, I don't really care what happens to you at this point. And that's
No.
unfortunate. And I'm sorry your family now has to deal with your dead body.
Oh my god,
and
his
all
wife
that,
does
but
not
like,
care.
probably wouldn't either. He's probably cheating on her.
So
I don't
true.
even care.
So true.
I shouldn't speak ill of the dead, but I will. I mean, and if the revolt is coming, okay? The revolution's on the horizon. I'm prepared. I'm ready to stand up where I need to stand up. I'm just waiting for the call because I'm not going to lead the charge. But this man, he's a leader, and I bet he's going to step up when we need him most again. He's in the wind, and I support that. Do you think he's just living his normal life now?
I don't know.
He gets out of New York and he just
Because by the time I think they closed the bridges or tried to like close bridges and like have it more secure, the like Manhattan,
he got out.
I think it was
on that
too
city
far.
bike. Well, even the police were like, he had such a good shot. I bet they saw him and they were like, just keep going. We won't say anything. Just you go. Even the police are getting screwed at this point. We're all screwed in this country. So we all have to do what we have to do. And let's take out the top 1%. No, I'm not leading a revolution.
Hey,
but that's what's going to happen.
I'm not
read
asking
the Hunger
for
Games.
it. I'm just commenting
the Capitol's
when
going
it happens.
down.
Did you see that
Katniss
the Blue Cross Blue Shield CEO announced that they don't cover anesthesia if it goes past a certain amount in your surgery? And people are like, today of all days, you're going to announce this?
Looks like that guy's going down next.
But in a reverse, McDonald's CEO announced that snack wraps are coming back. So, like, at least we're getting some positive effects from the CEOs.
Save that man. Blue Cross Blue Shield, get your life insurance ready. Okay? Because this he's on the loose. And he's doing the Lord's work.
That's so true.
He's doing the Lord's work.
He's still out there. You don't know who he's coming for next.
He's the Katniss Everdeen of our world, and he's taking you out. And everyone should have rooted for Katniss. So I'm going to be on the right side of history, and I'm going to do what I got to do. Also, there's revolutions happening everywhere. Fucking in Georgia, not the state, the country.
Yeah.
The parliament is there's a coup happening, and all those people were like, fuck that. We're not, what was it? They're like not going to join the EU. They're going to join Russia's, and everyone's like, absolutely not. And they're out there fucking fighting for their rights. South Korea was just under attack. What was it? What's that thing called? Martial law?
Yep. And then they're like, nope, take it back. And the French government's going down.
French government's going, you think that's not going to happen here? Mexico and Canada already had to tell the orange buffoon in charge what a tariff is and how they're not going to pay for it. And now he's confused.
Literally,
You
Canada's
think?
like, I'm going to hold your hand when I tell you this. They literally flew in and said, I'm going to hold your hand, babe.
The fact that the whole party talked shit on Mexico and Mexico showed up and was like, listen,
How
we know it's hard.
embarrassing.
We know it's hard out here, but here's what happens with a
See,
tariff.
we don't need kids to make us humble. Other countries are humbling us.
Yeah. So you think that's not about to happen here? I'm prepared. I'm about to get my ponchos ready for when I, like the people in Georgia, are being sprayed by hoses while I'm
God.
protesting because I'm fucking prepared. Don't think I'm not trying to go to Canada so quick.
Oh my God. I
Did
literally
you
am
see
like, should I
socks?
just wait, what?
There's someone, oh my God, what was it? Some politician in New York was like, I think that New York should join Canada for the next 4 years. And they were honestly debating it. Like, I think it was like Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine, like all these East Coast states were like, we'll join.
Let's secede.
And then California, Oregon, and Washington were like, count us in two. And then it was like,
dude, those three should really start their own country. I'm in.
Guess what's going to happen to your money, United States, if those states all leave? Good luck. Super good luck for you.
That's what I don't think people understand. You got to follow the money, and all the money.
It's the cities. It's the cities with the educated workers that vote blue.
Are keeping this country afloat.
Jesus. Anyway.
Yes. Anyway.
Book club?
Book club.
Would you want to go first? Are you reading?
I am not, actually. I really need to, Alicia, because it helps me like go to bed at a reasonable hour.
It does.
It helps me like sleep. And I have been doing none of that this week. So I need you to give me a little shaming if I don't come next week with some reading.
That's all right.
No, it's not. Because I was up till 2 a.m. last night.
The Vanishing Half. I remember.
Yes. No, I literally haven't read a single page since we last talked about it.
Well, luckily, I'm here to talk about my reading for you.
I can't
Remember
wait.
how I was reading the Vampire Hunger Games?
Yes.
Okay, so the series is kind of set up weird. So the first 2 books are like a duology, basically, right? It's about the same people. It follows the same story, right? There's also a novella that I read in the middle of those 2.
Yes, in between the first and the second. Yes.
Yeah. It gave us some side characters that then show up. You know, like in the second book.
And you were waiting for more of them. Or like more of the story.
They showed up and I was like, oh my God, I caught him. Then there's a 3rd book that just came out in November. So I haven't finished that one yet, but I'd love to tell you about the duology and the novella. I might spoil some things. So this is the Crowns of Nyaxia series. The first book's The Serpent and the Wings of Night. The second book is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and then the novella is called Six Scorched Roses, in case you want to not, if you want to read it or also not be spoiled. But you probably won't remember what I say. So, are you ready? Because it got crazy, Meredith.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I think you remember the Vampire Hunger Games. We follow our main character in the first book, Aurea. That might be wrong, but Aurea. She is a human who has been basically adopted by the Vampire King.
The king. And then the other guy, her like love interest.
Yes. So she's like, I've been adopted by the Vampire King, but I'm a human. So she doesn't like have friends and she can't trust anyone because, you know, she has human blood. So they all smell her.
You've already told me about most of this.
Yes. But hang on, go with me here.
Okay.
Go with me. Okay, so then she goes into the Hunger Games because basically if you win, you get one wish from the vampire god, like the god who created vampires. Okay. And she wants to wish to like share power with her vampire adopted dad so that she can be more powerful and then go look for her human family. So that's her goal.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
But everyone enters this vampire Hunger Games because they all need stuff. So then we meet Rain, who is this vampire guy who obviously they end up being lovers, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But at first they're enemies because she's like, you're like not my kind. There's different races of vampire. It gets kind of weird, but
Yes, there's the
and
like
they're
two
all in a race
types.
war. They're
Yeah,
all
yeah.
in a race war with each other. So he's a different race vampire, but she doesn't have any allies because they all want to eat her and kill her. And Rain's like, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, okay. And he's like, also, it comes with my best friend, Misha. I think that's her name. Comes with my best friend Misha. So now Aurea has 2 allies, and they got to go through all
Okay.
these different like
obstacles
and games and stuff, and like people die and whatever. So they do that, and she slowly falls in love with Rain, obviously. And it's so beautiful because they really did start as enemies, but her dad fucking hates Rain. Her dad is like, this dude sucks. And she's like, listen, Dad, he's keeping me alive, but I'll kill him in the end. But then when it's time to kill him, she's like, I fucking can't do it. Right? So they go to the final battle, and that's where she needs to kill him. And he ends up making a bargain with this other vampire to she'll die, and then he's gonna let Aurea murder him so she can live. Because he's like, she's not gonna be able to kill me. So this is what happens, right? So there's three vampires, right?
Yeah.
And we don't know this at the time, but Rain kind of like, one of the vampires goes straight for Aurea. This girl is like, I'm gonna fucking kill Aurea, and Aurea's like, I'm gonna die. But then she sees Rain do a quick like nod, and then this girl like throws her weapon down, and Aurea kills her. And she's like, and Aurea was like, that was weird, right? But then now she has to fight Rain, and Rain's like, you got to give me everything you got. But they're obviously both holding back, right?
Yeah.
But then in the end, she like almost has he's positioned it so she's on top of him, and she has her knife at his heart, but she can't go through with it. And then he grabs her hand and pushes it in. So he kind of kills himself, but in the hands of her because he can't kill her. It was really crazy. And then she gets her one wish. So the god of the vampires is like, what's your one wish? And Aurea's like, I wish that Rain had one instead. And the vampire God is like, okay, sounds good, and brings him back to life. And it's like, congrats, you won. What's your wish?
Wait, that's nice
like,
because he gets the wish again.
I know. So he looks at her and is like, what have you done? And she's like, what? And then he goes, I want my rightful place as vampire king, and I want my full power restored. So the goddess is like, all right, because she knew the god knew. And she was like, okay. And so she restores his full power, and he kills Aurea's adopted dad.
Yeah.
Because he needs to take back his throne. So that's when Aurea is like, fuck, dude. And she gets taken prisoner. But he's like, you're not really my prisoner, but you kind of are my prisoner.
I have to say it so people leave you alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then they do have to marry because that's how he's going to keep her safe. And she is so mad. She spends the first half of the second book just like, I fucking hate him. And he's like, I know you hate me, but you have to trust me on this. There are bigger enemies out there than like me. And she's like, but you killed my dad. But then they figure out that she has powers, and she's actually half vampire. And her adopted vampire dad was actually her real dad. And he got a human pregnant, and then he abandoned her and then killed her whole family and then took her back. Why? That was a crazy recognition. I know I'm jumping around a little bit because the second book is a lot of like they hate each other, but then they have to work together because they have a different common enemy that they have to fight.
That's what you had told me like that's where you left off last time.
Oh yeah. So that common enemy totally pulls one over and ends up almost killing Rain, but Aurea saves him. And then Rain is like, why the fuck you saved me? You hate me. And she's like, because I don't fucking hate you. And then they hook up. And then they're like, fuck, we got to work together and do all this. And that's when she's slowly putting the pieces together about her dad too. Like she's like, so they tried to stage a coup to take back the throne. Doesn't work. Everyone almost dies. It's terrible. He makes it out. She ends up meeting her family because her aunt is a healer. So her aunt's the one that heals her because she almost died. And then they're like, we have to pull another coup. So they try to pull another coup, and this one kind of works. And then she has to like find the blood of a god. It's kind of crazy. And then she drinks it. And they end up winning back the throne, which is.
There you go.
But then the next book is about his best friend, Misha, that I mentioned.
Is this book 3?
Yeah, book 3 is going to be about her. And book 4 will also be about her because there'll be a duology. There's going to be 6 books total. So 2, 2, and 2.
Okay, so it pivots out of their story and into his best friends.
Which I kind of hate when that happens a little bit.
Me too.
I get like so into these characters. And now you're going to make me like love a different character.
Because my thing is like, that's fine if you want to start a new series into that, cool, but like keep going with my original people.
And I get it. But so it's been a wild ride. That was really fun for me. So I'm on the 3rd book now.
Okay.
And then I also read a love book in between because I love a little romance.
What romance?
Now, it's called Just for the Summer. Meredith, did I tell you about when I read the book about the doctors?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, we're going to talk about it. Okay, so Abby Jimenez might be one of the best romance authors I've ever gotten the pleasure of reading. She's honestly very good.
I think you told me about another book that you read
maybe
of hers, but not the one about doctors.
Well, Abby Jimenez wrote this trilogy. It's called the Part of Your World trilogy, and they're all like intertwined. Yes.
Are there doctors?
Yes.
Okay. Then
so they're all weirdly intertwined. So the first book was about a doctor who dates a younger man, but she's like, he's so much younger than me. Oh no, how is this going to work? That was the whole book. That was all the issues in the first book. And I was like, I can't take it anymore. Just date the hot young man who's so obsessed with you and be done with it.
Yes.
Right? And she does eventually, but it took a long time to get there. So I gave that book, it's called Part of Your World, I gave it 3 stars.
I was going to say, I don't remember you loving that one, but then you liked the second a lot.
The second one was The Doctors. Okay, yes. So the second one was called Yours Truly, and I'm obsessed with it because it was about that first doctor's best friend who's a doctor, and she just got divorced, and she's at work, and then she meets this other doctor, and he's really rude to her, and she's like, fuck this dude, fuck this doctor. And then she finds out that he has social anxiety, so he got really nervous, and that's why he was kind of rude. I think he has autism, though that's never said, but all the things he talked about, I was like, it's very on the spectrum of you. But anyway, he becomes so obsessed with her that he's like so scared, but it's like very real because they have their like careers happening, but also they're all both like over 30, so he's like set in his ways, and then she comes in and disrupts that, so he gets
that's what I remember you talking about, is it was nice to have like a normalized age love story.
Yeah, it was really cute. And then so the girl doctor, her name was Brianna, she had a brother who ended up needing like a kidney transplant or something, and the other doctor donated his kidney, and it was like very sweet, and she didn't know until like after, and she was like, wait, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah, it was a match, like it was your brother. Like it was very cute. It was really not over the top, but like all of the conflicts, I was like, that's something I could see myself having to work through. Like it was very nice and beautiful. And so great. So that's how that intertwined. And then the third book I started reading, called Just for the Summer, and I couldn't figure out how it was intertwined, and it didn't hit me until the end. But the brother that got the kidney transplant, it's his best friend's love story.
Okay.
So like, but it didn't hit me until the end.
Yeah.
So basically this love story, it's between, God, I'm not going to even remotely remember their names.
That's okay.
Oh, Justin and Emma.
Okay.
And they both have this curse where they date someone, and then after they break up, the people they just broke up with find their soulmates. So like it's happened multiple times.
I thought you were about to say die.
No, that'd be a better story though. No.
Okay, but that is a curse. That would actually send me to a psych ward if every person I dated then found like their like true love.
You know, this isn't every person I've dated, but it's happened to me quite a few times, and I dislike that for myself. But whatever. Yeah. So they both have this disease, and they like, or disease. Curse. And they end up meeting, So Justin writes a Reddit post about it, and Emma reads it, and that's how she like figures it
Wait, I
out.
like that meet cute.
Yeah, it's a very cute meet cute. And so then they start like talking, and Justin's like, "Hey, I'm based in Minnesota. You should come." Which it didn't even click to me that the other two books were also based in Minnesota, but whatever. He's like, "I'm based in Minnesota. You should," because Emma's a traveling nurse. He's like, "You should try and get placed in Minnesota so we could actually date. Because then if we were to date and break up, ideally we would get with our soulmates right after. Like we would both put an end to the
Wait,
curse."
I
But
love
they keep
that.
talking. Like obviously they just start like flirting, and like they're like,
Yeah.
"We have to make it really professional, 4 dates, 1 kiss, and then we break up." That was their like
Wait,
agreement.
scheduling out this like curse.
It was kind of funny. It was funny. And so then Emma ends up she gets placed in Minnesota, and she starts dating Justin, but Justin's also in a pickle because his mom's going to prison, so he has to take on his
Oh.
3 younger siblings. That was interesting. I wish we got more
Whoa.
on that.
Yeah.
I know.
This is why I want follow-ups whenever they have like book series where it constantly changes.
I know. Eating that one up, let me tell you. But yeah, Justin's a nice enough guy, but then obviously these two fall in love, and then it gets messy because they like should break up. And also Emma has had her issues as far as like her family. So she's a
Mhm.
traveling nurse because she doesn't like to stay in one place for a long time because she always gets abandoned by the people she loves.
Yeah.
And so there's that whole thing. And then her mom comes into town and like lights the place on fire basically and causes Emma a lot of pain. And then it turns out that Emma's mom is the same mom of the guy from the first book that was younger that the doctor dated. So that was a weird connection that I got all of a sudden too, that I was like,
Wait a minute, say that again. Emma's mom.
so Emma's mom
Yep.
has a son that thought he was an only child, and Emma thought she was an only child, but the mom has a son that is the guy from the first book, the younger guy that dates the older doctor. That guy?
The young guy from the first book and Emma are siblings.
Yeah. Are siblings, and they had no idea. So that was a really fun
Was
little...
one of them like put up for adoption or abandoned or...
The boy, the son,
Yeah.
was abandoned and his grandparents adopted him. And then the mom left because that's what she does. And then she had Emma.
Okay.
And then never, like, she would then disappear for months on end,
But, like,
and Emma would end up in foster care.
would check
and
back
she would
in.
she would be with the son.
Oh my God.
Then. So this
So she
son
just
was
like ping
this,
ponged between abandoning
Yes.
these two kids?
Yeah, but the son at least had his grandparents, and he then, when he met Emma, was like, yeah, our mom sucks. She would like show up here and then like leave. And Emma's like, oh my God, that's when I'd be like home alone and have to fend for myself, or like I'd end up in
Ooh.
foster care. So very sad for Emma. But it was a big like thing. And yeah, so Emma had to work out all that trauma before she could date Justin, who had enough trauma because he's now the caregiver of 4 fucking siblings. Or 3 siblings.
4? Jesus.
3, 4, I don't even know. But
and any amount is too many.
But for anyone who's read this series, I didn't put the pieces together until Emma got really sick and Justin didn't know what to do, so he called the only doctor he knew, which was the girl from the second book. And then I went, Brianna's here? And I went, wait.
God.
And then I had to go back and be like, how did they
figure out that they were siblings between the guy from the first book and Emma, here, the girl from the third?
Oh, Emma took a 23andMe, and then, you can see siblings that have also taken it. And then the guy from the first book messaged her and was like, is your mom also Amber? Do you want to hang out? And she was like, fuck, dude.
Holy shit.
She had a lot of trauma to deal with.
Seriously.
But a cute love story.
This is just...
If this series gets made into a TV show, you can make it so dramatic. Because the books are not written dramatically.
Yeah.
But you could make this TV show a soap opera.
This is giving Grey's Anatomy.
You could almost make it, how The Summer I Turned Pretty is weirdly dramatic for a tween book?
Yeah.
That's how it would be. where you're like, it's not that serious, but it kind of is.
But like we can make it suspenseful.
Yeah, but the funny part is this shit is actually so crazy that his mom's like going to prison and he's now the guardian of 3 younger siblings and has to figure that out and give
Oh,
up
I
his
forgot she
life.
was going to prison. In my mind, she also like died, but I'm glad she isn't dead.
No, she's in prison. Crazy though, right? Like
she's okay, but he does need to still take care of his siblings.
it was insane. But I love it. It was a fun little ride.
That was a lot. Dang, you
You're
got a lot
welcome.
going on in your little
You're
Kindle.
welcome.
I feel like I need to go to therapy right now.
At least, doesn't it make you kind of feel better about yourself? You're like, at least that's not my life.
Yeah, but it also makes me nervous because that, like, I mean,
Could be
it's
your
not like I
life.
could be abandoned by my parents, but I guess I don't have younger siblings to take care of, but I could meet somebody whose life this is.
When I turned 18, my parents told me you have custody of your younger siblings if anything happens, so be ready.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoop. I've never lived a day in peace since then. No, I'm just kidding.
Nope.
Okay, well, are you watching anything?
Yes, I've been really keeping up with Bravo this week, and
So proud of you.
have you been at all? Have you watched Beverly Hills?
Not yet.
I think
you
you're
could
going
spoil
to die because, and this happens at the very end, and it's one of those like kind of to be continued fights where like they're on a mini trip, so it's clearly going to be like the next episode too. But Dorit
Ooh.
asks Kyle like to actually list why she's mad, and Kyle really can't. Like Kyle's mad
Of
for
course
no
you can't.
reason. Like
Yeah,
what
because
you said,
there's no reason to be mad.
I think you said this to me, or I saw it on a video that like Kyle is just treating Dorit the way Kyle's sisters treat her. Like
Yeah, when you
she's,
get mad at someone, you just ignore them.
yeah. But like I think Kyle's just mad in general and she's like taking it out on Dorit. So then whenever like it doesn't, her being mad doesn't make any sense. And now that people are trying to rationalize it and work it out with Dorit, who actually does have a smaller reason and it's getting blown up because of just they're both mad. But Dorit has a real reason to be mad. Now Kyle needs to come up with a real reason because like they're asking for it, but she has nothing. So I'm like, I hope they pummel Kyle into the ground next episode.
Ooh, I can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Amazing.
Also, Kathy Hilton, I think, is the funniest person on reality TV. She just gives me the humor I need.
I love Kathy Hilton. Like to my dying breath. She is so funny.
She
I
was on
love
Watch What
her.
Happens Live, and Andy has played with her now 3 times. A What's in My Bag game,
Can't
and
play the
she
game. She can't play the game.
can't play
I
it.
saw that. She can't play the game. She pulls out flowers and he's like, describe them. And she's like, they're flowers. And he's like, no.
She got so wrapped up and in awe of the boa that she was like putting it
boa.
on, and she was like,
There's
"It's
feathers.
It's like
Soft.
she's
It's
like wrapping
fluffy.
it on her neck."
I know, and this poor blindfolded woman guessing is like, anything else?
It's
Nope.
Bryn from New York, and I was so happy that
is that
Bryn
who
was
that
the
was?
one who was paired with
She
Kathy
could
because I
deal with
think
Kathy. Yeah.
everybody else would see it as like a social climbing, like, "Ooh, now I know Kathy Hilton." But Bryn's
Yeah.
just like bubbly and fun and can like handle anything.
Yeah, I saw Bryn be like, when Kathy was like, they're flowers, Bryn was like, they're flowers. I love this game. And I was like, she's thrilled to be here.
She can like roll with the punches. She was the perfect combo with
support.
Kathy. Speaking of
support.
New York, I also watched that, and I think I'm trying to stick through it to maybe hope it gets better because Sai, one of the women, got on her Instagram story after that stupid prank I told you about and was like, I promise it gets better. Like, it will pick up. And I have new qualms with them. I mean, it's the same qualms. But Jenna, who was the head of J. Crew, will not show her girlfriend. And my thing is, if you are going to be a full cast member on this show, you have to sign up for a certain amount of like sharing of your life. And if you don't want to, then you need to be a friend of. Like Jenna, I love her as a person, and she just needs to be a friend of on this show. She should not be a full-time cast member.
Very fair. Fair
Like,
qualm.
it's okay to not be the full cast member.
Know your place.
Exactly. And then everybody, just too many people annoy me. The newest housewife on that is actually amazing though, and it makes me sad because she's not getting the like hype she deserves because the rest of the cast sucks.
Um,
The new cast member's name is Raquel, and she is a lesbian and was, but it's similar to Jenna where
ooh,
she was married to a man, had kids, got divorced, started dating a woman, and I just think that's such a
ooh,
beautiful evolution for like people to know about, to know it's like it's never too late to be your real self. But
yeah.
she is Puerto Rican and they're about to go to Puerto Rico and her mom doesn't really approve and has like kind of become really religious, and I just think that's a fascinating story. But Raquel's partner is just like the funnest person ever. I love when they're together on screen, and then like Raquel's kids are a part of it. Like you actually get to see all of this woman.
Wow, I love.
She's great.
Truly is never too late to leave your
No.
man.
No. No, it
Never.
isn't. But yeah, that's what I've
Um,
been watching.
Sticking with Bravo, I finished the most recent season of Below Deck Med, and may I just say,
Yeah,
it
go
was
for it.
so good. Like, I am shook.
Who's
Also,
the
there was a
cast on this?
couple. Oh, Aisha was Chief Stew.
Okay.
And then there were two other stewardesses that we had never met before, Elle and Bree. Um, and then a third one came in for like an episode or two, and I don't remember her
Okay.
name. Apologies to this woman. And then no one else you would really know. I forget the bosun's name, but then there was Gail. She was a deckhand. Nathan, the deckhand. And then there was like a slutty little boy hooking up with everyone, hooking up with the chief. Here's the thing: is one of the deckhands was hooking up with two of the stews, and then
Oh
they
my
got mad at each
God.
other. They got mad at each other and not him. But then the new Stu came on, and then they were mad that he tried to hook up with her. So then they formed an alliance amongst the common enemy. And
Good.
Aisha's just like, this is a fucking mess. And then Gail and Nathan fall in love on deck, which I believed it. I most of the time am like, your boat mance will never last. And Gail and Nathan, I was like, if this doesn't last, I lose all hope in life and
Oh
love.
my
It was
gosh.
so cute. So Gail had a boyfriend coming on the boat,
And then broke up with him?
and they obviously broke up because he's on a different boat.
Yes.
And Nathan played the long game. He was like, I'm not even going to look at the other girls because I really like Gail, but she has to deal with her boyfriend stuff. And so he like, played the
My
friend,
God.
but then she was like, fuck, I have feelings for Nathan. And so she breaks up with her boyfriend and then like
I
slowly
love when
starts
that
getting
shit
more
happens.
comfortable.
I love when it's like, wait, I love this other person. I need to let go of this
I
relationship
know.
because I realize that's what's for me.
I know. And there was like drama amongst it because like I think the man whore was named Joe, the guy hooking up with all the stews. Joe and Nathan were best friends. And Joe
Okay.
was always like, I'm gonna travel with Nathan after the boat. And Gail was like,
Ooh.
but we already had plans, and Nathan's just drunk. So he's like, book the ticket. And to
Oh my
Joe. And then Gail was like really sad. It
God.
was so good though.
No.
The drama was pristine. Also, the stews didn't know what they were doing, which always makes.
That's always good drama. And we haven't seen like Cass be as messy as like you're
Yeah.
describing. I love a
Because
good
they're all
mess.
dating
I
people. Like Aisha's in
know.
a relationship. But Aisha's always a fun time. She'll show up.
That's what
She'll
it
eat
is.
her
We
drunk
need
noodles in bed.
on non-housewife shows, we need single people. We have too many
Yeah.
relationships on non-housewife shows.
I agree. I liked Aisha because she would always get drunk and then she would eat noodles in bed and text her boyfriend. But she was always the hammer, with the stews. She was like, you can't fuck up. But then she was also the comforting mom. So
Love
everyone had
that.
someone to cry to. It was
Yeah,
very good season, 10 out of 10. It was exquisite. I think everyone should watch it.
I love that.
And then I finished All American Homecoming, the final season 3. I'm not going to spoil because I want
Please
Meredith to
don't.
see it. But we left off in season 2. Simone had a choice, and it was either Damon or Lando.
I can't
And let me tell you,
remember.
this gives nothing away, but I ended that episode in season 2 and I went, if she doesn't pick Lando, I'm going to kill myself. I love Lando.
I don't know. I think I did finish that because you said there's only 3 seasons total.
Yeah, so we talked about season 2.
I think we did. Let's see. Yes.
She has a choice.
Yes.
It's either Damon or Lando.
It's just been so long since I watched this
I
that
know. This was a masterpiece, though, Meredith. It was so good.
I
And may I just say to
know.
anyone from the CW listening, how could you cancel the show?
Is it really on the CW?
It was. How could you cancel this show and have All American keep going? Here's my issue. And I've said this to Meredith. All American, the storylines are insane. They're like, I don't know, getting shot, getting stabbed. They have stalkers.
Because their
They're
problem
dating
was
adults as teenagers.
they were insane from the beginning, so you constantly have to keep outdoing yourself, and it just becomes so unrealistic.
It's so crazy. And we're supposed to be in college. None of them live on campus. So it's also unrealistic for us as viewers to like relate
Yeah.
to anything. All American Homecoming was so good. It was in college. We all lived in the stupid dorms because that's what we can afford. And
Yep.
the drama was, am I going to pass this class so I can play sports? And like,
They showed enough of the
who am I going to
sport
date?
for me to believe
Yep.
that they were like
But not
playing the
too much.
sports, but not too much, because
Not too
they also
much.
went too hard on the football thing in All American, which is fine because that was the basis of the story. I get it, but I really enjoyed the tennis and the baseball being added to Homecoming, and that some people also didn't play sports. And so it was an easy balance between all of that.
And it was very like, what am I going to do after I graduate? And like, who am I going to fall in love with out of these two people? And like, will I make it in my sorority? Like, it was so normal.
Yeah. And then they always had the family dinner at that aunt's house. And I feel like it always brought them back together.
So good.
Yeah.
And may I just say, All American Homecoming does an amazing job on black hair, which is not ever a thing. We have heard it time and time again from actresses on all shows that no one knows how to do hair.
Well, they don't hire.
Okay?
Yeah.
They don't hire black artists.
Yeah.
To be able to do the correct hair. But All American Homecoming, Simone shows up with a different hairstyle every time, and she looks so good.
Oh my God.
But they do such a good job with the hair. It's so good. How could you cancel? How do I get it back on the air?
You know what's been interesting is because we started watching like All American before Summer House Martha's Vineyard, right?
Yes, because we knew about HBC.
That's so true. That's so true. Okay, so but I feel like they kind of like tiered off of each other where we started watching All American and then we probably started watching Martha's Vineyard and then then we started watching Homecoming and then
Summer House Vineyard,
yeah. But I feel like it's given me such an opening to understanding so many parts of like the culture that just actually has to be seen through like lived experience kind of. And like a show kind of gives you that because they are living, what you would deem hopefully an authentic experience. And I truly enjoy it because I don't want to be a burden to ask a million questions about somebody's everyday life, be the person who has to be educated. So just being able to like sit and experience something and just be in it is so glorious. And they do it so well. And it's so good. Like everything that you could say about somebody who doesn't invest in a show like that. Yeah, a lot of them fail because they don't get the right investment. But then you see like we don't like All American because it's just over dramatic, but they still do so well in some of those aspects that we love on Homecoming too. And I appreciate it so much.
I think All American has done a good job as far as like, representing the Black experience in not just America, but specifically All American it takes place in California. But I think they've lost a lot of that theme though. Like it's just gotten too dramatic that we're not paying attention to that. Whereas All American, a big theme, every episode is Black excellence.
Homecoming.
And I love watching. It was so good. How do I get the show back on the air? When I tell you it ended and I went, no, I missed my friends. I missed all of them. It was the writers did such a good job this season.
It's so disappointing to know then that Homecoming got canceled and we have Summer House Martha's Vineyard on pause because it's like things we love.
I found out the CW has a deal with Netflix, and that's why All American keeps going. But I was like, why couldn't you have kept All American Homecoming though? But you could also tell in Homecoming this season that they were short on funds because they like really switched out the character. Like every episode, it was like, oh, so and so's not here because they're visiting
Because they didn't want to
colleges
pay
in. Yep.
Oh my
Which drove me
God.
nuts. Which drove me absolutely nuts. Because how are you going to have a deal for All American, but not for All American Homecoming? That's the
so
better show.
frustrating.
That's the better show.
Because also, this is going to be, I think, a theme in general on TV is like whenever the strike happened, a lot of things changed with especially writers and like how much they wanted to pay writers. And we're seeing that in TV across the board anyways. Like they don't want to have as many writers in a writer's room. And so the
And
quality
it
of writing is
shows.
going down and the investment in our actual entertainment is falling apart. Like I want good shows. I want 20 episode shows that have really great plot lines and have the commitment to the entire story and the clothing and the sets and every
Yeah.
piece of it. I want it to be incredible across the board. I don't want funding cuts. And so like cast members are missing. So then we have to like weave that into the storyline, which waters down the story.
Yeah, agreed. But I do need you to watch the season so you can tell me if you are happy with her choice and how you think that went.
Okay.
I will give nothing away besides end of season 2. I was so pro Lando.
13 episodes. I'll do this by next week.
I did it in a day, Meredith.
I
was like,
can't
I can't go to
wait.
bed till I know what happens. It was so good. Whoever wrote on that show, whoever was the costume director, whatever, whoever did the hair, everything. It was a masterpiece, season 3. I loved it. I loved
sad
it.
now.
The drama was perfect. Oh, kiss. Some storylines I obviously couldn't care about, but once you build a character, you have to go with it. You can't cut the character out. And I get that. I get it. But some of them I was like, get me back to Simone.
That's what's hard. That's what's hard is like, I have favorite people. And sometimes I'm like, all right, let's get back to my person that I care the most about.
It's like when you watch Vanderpump Rules and you're like, what am I doing at Tom Schwartz's apartment? I don't care.
Like, get me back to that.
The drama. That's how I felt, where I'd be like, no.
I wish they could re-edit shows, the ones that like we've watched a million times, where you could get just like so-and-so's storyline.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that's how I feel about, I'm rewatching Grey's Anatomy right now, just as my comfort show at night. And I'm like, no, but I really just want Meredith and Derek.
That's it. It happens a lot with like, written shows because we just love these characters so much. I mean, Vampire Diaries, if it's not about Caroline, I don't want it.
Don't you wish that like you could have a rewatch option where you could just go watch Caroline's story?
Just Caroline's story and anything with Klaus. Those two, oh God.
I wonder if that's where TV could get, is you could like sub in and out specific parts. But would you like lose the context?
You would have to watch the original show first, and then in the rewatch, you could like skip to your favorite. Like One Tree Hill, I don't give a shit what Chad Michael Murray, what's his character's name? What Chad Michael Murray's character is doing. He's
Lucas.
Terrible. Unless he's with Brooke, I don't want Lucas on my screen.
Unless it's like a major point of the entire story arcs happening, leave it out.
You know what? When he has a heart attack, I enjoyed that. I could watch that.
I more so like meant like the school shooting. Like that is a major pivotal point that you need to
but
like
he's
watch.
Always with Nathan or Brooke or Peyton. Like if it's just him at home moping, cut it off my screen. I don't need it. I don't want it. Try again. Especially those later seasons when you grab Clay and Quint, skip all of it. I'm terrible.
I don't watch past season 5 for One Tree Hill.
You watch season 6. They're still there.
But that's when like Nanny Carey comes in, and I just don't care for that storyline.
It's a great time. Nanny Carey is hilarious.
Oh my God.
Greatest TV villain, Chris Keller forever. Well, I could talk about it. But same with Gossip Girl is now on Netflix, and I catch myself if I'm watching it, I'll be like, I don't care about this storyline. Let me just skip.
I wish you could skip like this scene or like this. Like I wish there was a button for that, because there's somewhere I'm just like, no thanks.
Yeah, there's some that I just don't care about. Also, let's just get to the part where Chuck and Blair get together. Why are we even wasting
Oh,
our time with Nate Archibald? I can talk about it forever. The OC, why am I
oh
wasting
my
my
God.
time? Actually, the OC, I'm going to say it doesn't have a lot of skippable characters for me.
I agree with that.
The
This
OC
in season
slaps.
1, there's a few, like, I just want to get to the point where they're like they become the foursome. The beginning, I'm like, all right, and
No,
let's
I love watching Seth like struggle a little bit. That was really fun for me. And Luke, see, even Luke, I wouldn't want to skip his scenes because he's iconic.
I'm
Welcome to
not
the
a big
OC,
fan of
bitch.
him.
My favorite character on the OC, and this is a hot take, is Julie Cooper Nickel. I love Julie Cooper Nickel. I never skip a scene with her in it. She
She
is
is
God,
one of
what's
the
the
best
actress's
TV
name? Melinda
mom.
Clark.
I think so.
When Julie Cooper Nichols showed up on Vampire Diaries, I screamed to Meredith. I was like, "It's Julie Cooper Nichols, the mom from hell.
Oh my
She
God.
is so good." What did she get her start in? She didn't start as a TV mom,
I don't
did
know.
she?
I have no idea, but she's part of the
Melinda.
Rewatch podcast.
Yes, which I don't listen to because I just can't be bothered. Although I do love Rachel Bilson. People right now are just finding out that Adam Brody is Seth Cohen from the OC and he dated Rachel Bilson before he dated Leighton Meester. People really got to catch up, you know? But yeah, he dated his co-star for a very, very long time.
Also, that was like very typical during that era. Now
Yeah,
I
because
feel
how
like
else
you
were you
have
meeting
co-stars
people?
date less likely just because it does ruin things.
But also, you can meet other people online.
Yeah,
This is
that
how
makes
we were
sense.
meeting people back in the day.
And
She
to
did
go back
kind
to
of
the
start.
writing is like whenever your show was only 8 episodes, you're not spending that much time with your person compared to the 20 episode
Yeah.
seasons that we used to have.
Was Julie Cooper Nickel in Star Trek? Was that a big thing for
I've
her?
never seen Star Trek.
I haven't either. She's on one episode of Seinfeld, one episode of Charmed.
She's just a
So
consistent
maybe
like
she did. And then she was a consistent Julie Cooper Nickel. And then for some reason it says that she's on the Vampire Diaries until 2017. I remember her from season 1 and that is it. She came back? Jesus Christ.
I have no idea.
You're going to tell me this woman has not really worked since 2018. That's bullshit. She's an icon. She's a legend. Julie
She
Cooper
is
Nickel could
the
be my.
moment.
She cracked me up. What other TV mom would hook up with her daughter's boyfriend?
We didn't
It
have
was
any
so
TV moms.
good.
We had no TV moms. They were all abandoning their kids.
Yeah, Julie Cooper Nickel stuck around, you know? Also loved Sandy from the OC.
He's a
Hot.
good one.
He was hot. Kirsten, not to be confused with Kirsten. It's Kirsten.
I did love Kirsten.
She's a nickel too. But then
She
she married
is.
Sandy Cohen. And they did Chris McCaw. My friend, I'm going to call her out. My friend Allie didn't know what Chris McCaw was. And I was like, excuse.
Wait, she just heard it and was like, sounds great. This is a new name for Christmas?
No, when she was watching Nobody's Perfect, she was like, who's this man? And I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, she
You've
never watched
heard?
OC.
I was like, you don't know Adam Brody, who played Seth Cohen, the creator of Chrismica? And she was like, the fuck's that? And I was like, Seth Cohen was half Jewish, half Christian. Chrismica. People who don't do their research.
This is a year for Chrismica because they overlap.
It is.
Or they like are right
Happy
next to each
Chrismica.
other.
What are we doing for it? I watch that. You know how some TV shows you just watch yearly? Like every year on Thanksgiving, you watch the Gossip Girl Thanksgiving episode.
Yes, I know exactly because I sent a voice memo to my friend about watching Normal People and she was like, I did just also start.
It's just some things just hit. So every year you're supposed to watch all the Gossip Girl Thanksgiving episodes, but if you can only watch one, you pick the one with Jason Derulo.
I did watch that. I watched that drunk in my bed at my parents' house.
Ooh, what you say? That's the song. And then because, the same, in case you didn't know, here's some lore for you. The same creator who did Gossip Girl did the OC, because they use that exact song in a very pivotal moment in the OC when Marissa shoots her boyfriend's brother.
Oh my God.
And that's the song that plays. So it's a very well-known song, obviously. But then if you do the OC every year, you should watch every Christmas episode. Okay, but if you can only pick one, pick the one where Summer dresses up as a superhero for Christmas for Seth, because that's a good one.
That's romance, baby.
That's what he was two-timing her with Anna, but that's beyond the point.
Oh my God. Why
she dressed
love
up
triangles?
as his stupid character? Because a love triangle is the way to go. And I did a whole PowerPoint about this. TV love triangles and the side that you should be on.
That's true. That's true.
Like if I gave you a TV love triangle, would you be on the right side?
I think so.
Lucas, Brooke, Peyton.
Well, I'm a Peyton girly, but I know that most people are a Brooke girl.
I
just think they had
Peyton
a better
and
connection.
No.
Oh,
Peyton
I see what you're
Brooke
saying.
They had the best connection.
Wow.
You picked the girlies on. That was a trick question.
That's not really.
Do you remember
Degrassi?
One. Do you remember Degrassi?
Yeah, a little bit, but not well.
There was the Craig, Manny, Ashley. Craig, Manny, and Ashley. I was always Team Manny, even though Craig sucked. But then, yeah, you got Anna, Summer, and Seth, which obviously you pick Summer and Anna. Or nope, you pick Summer and Seth. I don't even know what I'm
trick.
saying.
This is all a trick question. I'm going to always pick the girls the entire time.
I'm here for the lesbians.
Okay, so where do you sit on the Vampire Diaries now that can be added to your list?
Which love triangle? Damon, Stefan, Elena?
Yeah.
Sorry. Wait. I think in the end I did really like I picked the brothers. No. In the end, I do support Elena with Damon because I want Damon's happiness. He cracks me up. He's honestly a really good character.
Yeah.
I just didn't like how he was the guardian dating his 17-year-old brother's girlfriend.
I will still always love season 1 with Stefan and Elena.
It was so good. The chemistry. Do you know they didn't really like each other? Nina Dobrev and Paul Wesley. They didn't like each other while they were shooting, but they had to play lovers.
Man,
yeah, they hated each other, but now they're friends.
Good.
Now they're good friends. Anyway, are you listening to anything?
I am actually, and
besides
I really
me?
think you should.
Ooh.
I think I mentioned this last week on the Crime Weekly. They're doing John O'Keefe and Karen Reed. Episode 2 dropped last week, and by the time this comes out, episode 3 will drop. And if people haven't gotten into the case, this is really where I would get into the case because Derek has a very interesting take since people think there's police corruption that he's very and he's from the East Coast that she told him all the names involved and he was like, I need you to tell me if you know any of these people because then you need to not be a part of this episode. And there was one time where he was like, that name sounds familiar. And he was like, I don't know this person, but he's like, wait, that's weird. This is how it should be done. And so it's just validating a lot of my thoughts about the Karen Reed trial.
Shit. Okay. Wait, so do you agree with what Derek is saying?
Yes. I mean, they had a lot of procedural errors. So he's talking about what is standard and what should happen and the risks you take if you don't follow standard procedures. They collected blood in red Solo cups. And they end up getting into some of the finer details where he's really clarifying how some of this stuff is happening. Cause he's like, what? And then she'll ask Derek, there was one specific incident where there was apparently glass on her bumper and people think it's planted. And the girl host, what's her name? Stephanie or something? Is that her name? She was like, I don't understand how little shards of glass would stay on a bumper when allegedly, she hits John O'Keefe.
Yeah, you're
glass
moving, aren't you? Yeah.
Shatters. She drives home and then she drives the next morning too, and the car gets towed. And Derek tries to come up with like reasonable explanations why sometimes some stuff would happen or like why things could be the way they are if there was no interference, just to play devil's advocate, which is interesting to hear. He was like, well, if it did, like there was a snowstorm, like it could be caked on there and basically like snowed in. And Stephanie's like, no, the car was in the garage. There's no snow on it. And so like they're like talking through the like fine details of, and he's like, well, then that doesn't make sense. And so it's like really fascinating for him to like walk through some of the finer details where people are like, no, this is a conspiracy theory.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's reignited my interest in the trial because it was like a hung jury or it was like declared a mistrial. And so she's still on trial. And so like I keep seeing stuff on my TikTok. So I'm like back in present day with some of this stuff. And then it's like fun to like revisit the original trial too.
Interesting. Okay. I'll give it a listen because I never got into the case and I didn't know why. And maybe the right people just weren't explaining it to me.
It was like, it's very nuanced and it, like you have to hear it all to like understand where all the problems lie. Because if not, then it just sounds like, oh, did she or did she not hit him with a car? Like whatever. But there are like so many issues that it just like builds and builds and builds. So it's kind of nice that it's in this like multi-part series that is very approachable. And then, yeah, it's still happening. So you can kind of like catch up. You don't really like I see some creators where like now they're talking about stupid people's like Apple watches and like what they were doing at 3 a.m. and I'm like, all right, I'm a little too in deep on these like niche topics that like will never you can't put that stuff into like a court case.
Yeah.
But
solid. Love that. Okay. Yeah. On my list, Crime Weekly.
Also, this is another case that I think is fascinating because it's reality TV, but the Bravo docket finally covered the Clayton Echard, he was a bachelor, paternity issue out in Arizona where this girl like swindled him, and she's done it multiple times, which is the fascinating part, but said she was pregnant, brought a case against him in Arizona, but was never pregnant for like parenting time.
Isn't Clayton the one who's gay?
No, that's what's his name?
Sorry.
No, but they were like a few apart, and they both had problems. So honestly, they are very similar. Clayton had a rumor that he cheated on the girl he picked, and it ended up not being true. And the guy that girl like slept with like just said he was the bachelor, which is like so embarrassing for that girl. And then this case is like they were Clayton and the girl he picked had been broken up for a while. Like they're friends now, but this girl's fucking
crazy.
She's done it to like 3 or 4 other guys.
That's crazy. I love that. I'll listen to
that one. I was in the Reddit sleuths about that because it's an insane story, and this girl is like such a good scammer. Like she knows what to do to get around certain things. And thank God he was a public figure because now this is like it came to light, and like the other guys like came forward and like were telling their stories, and it just like I just think I hate that people have to go through this, but what like an insane story. Sometimes this shit happens. I love when I get to hear the story. I'm so sorry you went through it, but it is a fascinating story for me to hear.
Swindled. Love that.
Yes. I mean, thank God like he figured it out and other people helped him, and like people raised money to like help him with his like lawyer fees because he was like $500,000.
Shit.
This girly like, and she comes from a wealthy family, so she had the money to just like sue him and like do all this stuff.
What the fuck she swindling him for then?
She basically what she wanted out of it was she said she would have an abortion or like take Plan B if he would be in a relationship with her, and he was like, I want nothing to do with you. You are fucking crazy. Do whatever you want, but Arizona has a law that if you pressure somebody to have an abortion, like you could sue them. So that was like her backup to basically try to get him to date her. And it's like, why would you want to start a relationship like this?
What a weirdo. Okay.
You want to date a man that bad? Girly.
Just be gay.
Lavender marriages only.
Just be gay. I'm listening to the Wicked soundtrack, or what they've given me of it so far. Did you know not a lot of people know how Wicked ties into The Wizard of Oz?
You know, I didn't fully know. I knew some of it, but I I don't think I ever like thought that hard into it, but I did see there's a the whiteboard girly, and she did it like
Oh
in
yeah.
a timeline, and so it visualized like it gave me the data
Yeah.
visualization that I never have thought through in my own brain, but that's how my brain needs to be.
Y'all, the Wicked Witch of the East that gets shit on by that house, by Dorothy's house, that's Nessa. That's the sister. And then the Wicked Witch of the West is obviously Alphaba, and the Witch of the North is obviously Galinda. And then the lion, the cowardly lion, is the lion that Alphaba saves from class, which, in her defense, that was the
Well, I
right
just
move.
think
But
Wicked was less accessible because it wasn't like a movie,
that's true. How's
whereas
someone Googling this? And then Bach is
but you
the
don't know
Tin
what to
Man.
Google.
And then Fiero, he's the Scarecrow.
I
Because she
bet there's a
says in
lot of
that,
people who have never seen Wicked.
y'all, Google it. It's so good. There's literally a song, a line that he says, "Let his flesh never bleed, let his blood leave no stain. When they beat him, let him feel no pain." And she turns him into a fucking scarecrow. That's what that spell
Oop.
was. And then she got all mad at Bach, and she's like, "What a fucking heartless loser." And now he's heartless. Crazy. Crazy.
I wish I had
Everyone go look it
magic.
up. The way it ties in is amazing. But
I knew
it's
what they
so
were
good.
doing.
Jonathan Bailey. I can't wait to see his rendition of a scarecrow. Just kidding. You won't
Oh,
actually really see the
that's
scarecrow.
so true.
But
Wouldn't that be
the
cool if
weird
then
part
they
is
took and did a Wizard of Oz remake with the cast?
that'd be kind of crazy. My question though is because Wicked, the second act, part of it happens while the Wizard of Oz is supposedly happening
Yeah.
because Dorothy throws the bucket of water and that melts the witch, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that all happens. So I'm wondering if like Jonathan Bailey is going to play a scarecrow because I can't imagine because in the musical they just put like basically a sheet and you see
Yeah.
like the shadow of Dorothy. So you assume you like that's what's happening. But I can't imagine in the movie they skip all that. It's 3 hours.
I
So
bet
I
not.
imagine that.
Yeah, they actually do it because they have the power of it not being live. Yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine that. Now I'm excited. Who's going to play Dorothy?
That's a good question.
That's got to be a thing. And then can I spoil the end of Wicked? No, maybe I don't.
I think
Can I do
most.
it?
Yeah, do it. Listen, this is your warning now, people. If you've never seen it, just maybe don't finish the episode.
In Wicked, when Dorothy throws the water on the witch, she actually just goes into a trap door and then she runs away with the scarecrow with fear.
Yeah. Isn't that
And
wild?
no one knows. Love forever, Fiero and Alphaba. Oh,
Oh
Jonathan Bailey,
man.
my gay prince. Now that's a lavender marriage.
That's what I would take.
You're not going to sit here and tell me Fiero is not gay, please. Jonathan Bailey is my gay prince. Anyway, I think that's it. Everyone listen to Wicked. They did such a good job.
I'm
Great.
glad you loved it. I'm glad it's literally taking over the rest of people's years.
It's literally my life. It's so good. It's so good. I can't believe I have to wait a year for that second movie. Jesus. They could have just done one at Thanksgiving and one at Christmas, and I still would have bought 2 tickets.
Even 6 months like would have been better.
Yeah, I'm gonna forget to go see it next Thanksgiving. What if I'm not, you know what's gonna really suck? The people that die before part 2 comes out, and so they never see part 2. That could be me. I don't think I'm gonna
so
die.
sad.
But I don't know the future. And you know what? If I die before I see Wicked Part 2, I'm gonna do something. I don't know what my ghost form will do.
I'm gonna do something. You know what? Don't become a CEO and steal and like take millions away from people.
The
There's
CEO will never see part 2 of Wicked.
I bet he has not even seen part 1.
Did he have children?
You think that man cared about his children?
No, but maybe he got to go to like a screening. He's rich. I don't know what the rich do, but like how now every person that dies in the next year, I'm going to go, they're never going to see Wicked Part 2. And that's just, if I have to go one more day without Jonathan Bailey dancing on my screen, I don't want it.
Do you think the cast has seen the whole thing? Do you think they even finished editing it?
I don't think they're done editing it.
So, like, if anybody in the cast dies, knock on wood, I don't want that to happen, but they wouldn't even get to
They're
see
never going to see it.
every famous person now that dies. I'm going to think about that, Alicia.
Guys, they all have grandparents. Okay, like get it out now. What if imagine your grandma sees part 1?
We all aren't promised it tomorrow. Get us part 2 now.
There's less time to die between Thanksgiving and Christmas than Thanksgiving and the other Thanksgiving a year later. The chances, come on, this is stupid. Imagine all the poor kids, because upsetting, but kids also die in this world. Imagine there's a child that sees Wicked Part 1 and doesn't see Wicked Part 2.
You did
Actually,
that.
this has made me angry. Well, someone call up that CEO because I got beef. Oh, God. Just end the podcast.
Well, thank you for joining us for yet another. Bye.